Nostalgia is a tricky little bastard and you never really know what it's gonna do to you and your memories. For example, I remember the old God of War games being flawless masterpieces. But are these games really timeless classics or have they aged like CGI from the early 2000s?
Really bad.
So, my challenge right now is to get rid of my nostalgia glasses and be as objective as possible when replaying the original God of War Trilogy. Luckily for me, I can barely remember anything from the games, so it will probably feel like quite a fresh experience. Only a few minutes in, I realized how epic these games were. What could be the big finale for other games is usually the opening section for a God of War game. However, there's no denying that these are games from another generation. Video games just played differently back then with their fixed camera angles and somewhat stiff controls. But if there's one game that can get you into that console generation, it is God of War. It throws you in immediately, you get an awesome boss fight within the first hour of gameplay and it feels really satisfying to hack and slash your way through the first levels. Especially when you take out bigger enemies by pressing the circle button and following a quick time event after you depleted their health enough.
You shouldn't have let me press all those buttons.
From there on, the game never really stops, and here comes my only gripe with God of War. Despite there being a decent variety of gameplay between hacking and slashing, jumping and climbing, quick time events and solving a few minor puzzles, the pacing seems a bit off in the last third of the game, where it doesn't seem to stop hitting you with waves and waves of enemies.
By Zeus, what sort of jackassery is this?
But since there is a nice variety of opponents and the combat is genuinely fun, I can turn a blind eye here. The sequel irons out some of the minor annoyances of the first game. The pacing issue is improved with the second game, which has a higher number of more engaging puzzles. Even though some of those puzzles had me stuck for a minute or two, running in circles and being like...
I mean, seriously. What the hell do you want me to do? Huh?
For the most part, God of War 2 is more of the same, but bigger and better, and at least as much fun as the first one, if not more. But then, I don't know what happened, but I die again and again and again. Always at the same spot. I need to bring an NPC to the other side of this bridge, protecting him while waves after waves of the most annoying opponents are trying to kill us both. I just can't do it. My frustration grows and I start questioning myself and the game. I wanna recommend this game, but I have to be honest here. Is this bad game design and just throws too many enemies at you for the sake of appearing big and epic? Or am I really that bad? I don't know. All I know is that I am at a dead end. And when the game asks me to, I do the unimaginable.
And I'm sure you'll be very glad to hear that, yes, I feel ashamed.
I can progress the game now, but it leaves a bitter taste. And I need to know, was it really that hard? Or was I playing it wrong? So I look up a playthrough and what can I say? This guy breezes through the area like it was a children's game. I mean, yes, his name is the gamer creator, so what did I expect? What I learn, however, is not that he is much better because he has better reflexes. No, he mainly plays smarter and makes use of all the abilities the game gives him. These annoying opponents, they are not so annoying anymore if you use Medusa's head, turn them into stone and smash them into little pieces.
Holy crap.
If I learned one lesson from Demon's Souls, then it's that if a difficult game is well made, it challenges your creativity as a player. It gives you plenty of options to make the game easier, but it doesn't take you by the hand all the time and tells you how you can solve every little issue. Figuring that out is your job as a player. So, while button mashing my way through the rest of God of War 2 because I have switched to easy mode and now it's about as challenging as microwaving instant noodles, I decide that I will play the third game the way it's intended to, as a curious gamer who makes use of the abilities he is given. And there would be no better game to do that than God of War 3, because you have more abilities and weapons than ever before, and all of them are actually useful and even have to be used in different scenarios. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. After another epic finale, God of War 2 ends with a massive cliffhanger. And I mean that in the truest sense of the word. You're basically hanging on the cliff of the Olympus. And God of War 3 picks up right there. It's hard to imagine, but they managed to increase the scale and epicness one step further. That's probably also a side effect of the new platform this game was released on. You see, the first two God of Wars were PlayStation 2 games, but I played them in the PlayStation 3 HD collection on my PlayStation 3. The third one is a PlayStation 3 game, but I played it in the PlayStation 4 remastered version on my PlayStation 5.
That makes no sense.
Well, what if you were smarter?
So, needless to say, the third game looks better than the first two. But it looks way better. God of War 3 is not only the conclusion to the story, but also the perfect culmination for the trilogy. It takes everything that was good about the first two games and makes it better. You are slaying god after god and don't even stop at titans. It's more brutal and more epic than the two predecessors, and it feels like Kratos is finally doing what he was always meant to do: conquer the whole world of Greek mythology. Any frustration I may have had somewhere in between the second game, there is nothing left at the end of this epic journey, just pure joy. These games are incredibly fun to play. I still have to admit though that I can't really tell how much of it is nostalgia. Even though I didn't remember most of the areas, I felt that I have been there before, and that is a really comforting feeling. So I don't know how these games feel to someone who hasn't played them. They do have their flaws, and when you come straight from a modern game, you probably need some time to get used to the fixed camera angles and the controls. At the end of the day, it might not be worth your time to play these old games when there is such an abundance of new ones out there. But then again, with almost every new game that comes out, you need to wait a few months until it's patched anyway. And I do think that these games are something special. They have been special when they came out, and they hold up quite well for their age and are still a lot of fun to play, tell a great story, and if you like Greek mythology and gods, then it's a no-brainer anyway.